For centuries, herbs have been associated with sunlight, warm hillsides, Mediterranean gardens, and open fields bathed in golden light. But nature, as always, tells a more nuanced story. Shade is not the absence of light, it is filtered light, diffused light, and cooler soil temperatures, conditions that mimic forest floors across the world. Understanding shade. Not all shade is the same. Before choosing a single plant, you must understand your shade. Light shade means about 3 to 5 hours of morning or filtered sunlight. Dappled shade is sunlight broken by leaves overhead. Full shade is less than 3 hours of direct light, but still bright. Most shade-tolerant herbs prefer brightness without intensity, not darkness. These conditions slow evaporation, protect delicate leaves, and preserve essential oils, often improving flavor rather than reducing it. The herbs that truly love shade. Let's separate myth from reality. Mint. Mint is a woodland plant by nature. In full sun, it becomes stressed and bitter. In shade, it produces larger, softer, more aromatic leaves. What works? Partial to dappled shade, consistently moist soil, and rich organic matter. Shade actually controls mint's aggression, making it easier to manage. Parsley. Parsley prefers cool roots and moderate light. Too much sun causes premature bolting. What works? Morning sun, afternoon shade, deep loose soil, and regular harvesting to encourage leaf growth. In shade, parsley focuses energy on leaf production, not flowers. Cilantro, also known as coriander leaf, is, well, kind of infamous for bolting when the weather gets hot. Shade is actually its greatest ally. So, what really works for cilantro? Bright shade or just morning sun, keeping the soil cooler, and harvesting frequently. Cilantro, that grows in the shade, tends to stay productive for weeks longer than plants grown in full sun. Chives are honestly some of the most adaptable, resilient, and forgiving herbs you can grow. What works best for them? Partial shade, moderate watering, and good drainage. Chives grown in the shade remain tender and mild, and they avoid that harsh bite you sometimes get from too much sun. Lemon balm, which is a member of the mint family, really thrives when it's kept away from harsh sunlight. What works for lemon balm is dappled shade, moist and fertile soil, and regular trimming. Shade helps preserve its lovely lemony aroma, which, by the way, fades pretty quickly if the plant sits in intense sun. Now, some herbs aren't true shade plants, but with a little help, they can adapt. So, let's talk about basil. Basil definitely prefers the sun, but in really hot climates, you'll notice that a bit of shade actually improves the quality of its leaves. What works best is morning sun and some afternoon shade, along with excellent drainage and, frequent pinching of the stems. Shaded basil might grow a bit slower, but honestly, it tends to taste even better. Now, dill is a little different. Dill can tolerate light shade, especially if you live in a warm region. What really works for dill is bright, open shade, loose soil, and making sure it's protected from strong wind. When dill grows in shade, it puts more energy into producing foliage, rather than rushing to flower too soon. And here's a key point: soil is the true secret weapon. Shade gardens usually fail not because of a lack of light, but because the soil just isn't good enough. In the shade, soil tends to stay cooler, and, microbial life actually increases. Organic matter breaks down more slowly, which is pretty interesting. So, what actually works here is compost-rich soil, a loose structure that allows for oxygen, and excellent drainage. Even though there's plenty of moisture, healthy soil can really compensate for reduced sunlight. When it comes to watering in the shade, you want to do it less often, but more thoughtfully. Shade slows evaporation. And honestly, overwatering is the #1 killer. The best practice is to water deeply, not frequently. Always check the soil moisture before watering. Try to avoid wetting the leaves, especially in areas with low airflow. Remember, roots need oxygen just as much as they need water. Herbs grown in shade tend to have softer cell walls. They actually retain volatile oils longer and, as a bonus, they taste less bitter. Regular harvesting encourages fresh growth and helps prevent legginess. The final truth about shade herbs: shade isn't a limitation, it's actually an ecosystem. When you grow herbs where they evolved, under trees, beside walls, in filtered light, You stop fighting nature and start working with it. The secret isn't more sun, it's about choosing the right plants, using the right soil, and having the patience to let nature lead. And in the quiet shade, herbs don't struggle. They truly flourish.